Hello, residents of Chelsea. Welcome to a special edition of Our Community. I am so excited to speak with you today and talk about our comprehensive master plan. It is something that we have been talking about a lot recently as a community, a lot in our meetings, a lot in our workshops, a lot in our streets. Our comprehensive master plan is called Chelsea Palante, Chelsea Onward. And it's a very exciting process. And I am so excited to share with you today a lot of details about the master plan. And most excited of all, I wanted to introduce to you our expert for the day. We're going to spend a few minutes answering questions and having a conversation about our master plan. So with me today is Carlos Sainz Caccia. Mr. Caccia is the senior urban planner and designer with Utile. And as we'll get into it, we'll share some details about the plan, the firm, and basically, you know, what the trajectory and work is. But before we get into those details, I wanted everyone to know about you, Carlos. If you can tell us who you are, what you are doing in the plan, and share basically, you know, why this plan is so interesting to you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Fidel, and thank you, everyone. Very excited to be working in Chelsea. I'm actually originally from Mexico. I moved to the United States in 2015. I did architecture over there, and then I moved here to do a master's in city planning. And then I stayed. I've been lucky to be in this country now for 10 years, working in different scales, all the way from a block scale to regional scale in terms of planning and urban design. I've been working with Utile for almost 2 years now as a senior urban planner and urban designer, where we do any kinds of zoning work, corridor plans, a lot related to MBTA communities work. So in that particular sense, working in Chelsea, to me personally, has been very gratifying because it's working at a Latino community, majority Latino community, and a city that has like this intersection of challenges and diversity that really makes, as a planner and as an urban designer, like makes you excited and happy to work with. Also a community that is looking towards the future. Is constantly we work with communities that are mostly like a no, like a nothing can change. And here we find in Chelsea a community that wants change, but change for themselves and change for good. That change that actually includes them. So it's been a pleasure to work so far.
Awesome. So I heard a few things. One is our motto, right? Chelsea Palante, Chelsea Onward, and that's something that we, as a community, have really embraced and taken on. That we know we have to change, we know that we have to move forward, right? And we embrace that 100%. You touched a little bit about Utile. Could you tell us a little bit about Utile, the company, the firm, and have you done this work before in other communities?
Yes, so Utile is a firm that is based in downtown Boston, Chinatown more specifically. We're about a 90-plus people office. We do all the architecture and planning. And I work on what we call the UDP side of the office, urban design and planning. And we do everything from test fitting and master planning to regional and or zoning, regional planning or zoning. And yes, we actually, it all started for the office working in a combo almost at the same time in Imagine Boston and Envision Cambridge in 2016, if I remember correctly. So that was the first time the office would start doing comprehensive planning. Envision Cambridge was a massive endeavor. And then since then, the office has perfected in a way or keep like polishing our process of how to do master planning. We've done, most recently, we finished the master plan in Salem, New Hampshire. We also have worked on the Salem, Massachusetts one. Recently finished Worcester. Lynn and Lowell was another like combo We're currently working on the master plan for Portsmouth, New Hampshire as well. So different scales, different tastes of communities, different challenges. Some are more suburban, some are more urban. So Chelsea kind of fits right in the middle, like small, dense. It's definitely the smallest and densest city we worked on, and the most diverse, although very similar to the one we did in Lynn. Although Lynn is 10 times bigger in terms of dimension.
Landmass, absolutely. So it's really exciting that you have done this before. And when we were interviewing Utile, I think it was what really shone, right? That it was a firm that knew what they were doing, that had been perfecting this craft for some time, and I looked at the plan, both in Lynn and Lowell, and it was an inspiration, right? It was absolutely an inspiration.
Yeah, and something that to our practice is very important. Planning documents can be very dry, even for people that do planning. Sometimes I get reports or get other plans, and as someone that should be able to read those documents, like, okay, I need a break here. It's like I don't even know what I'm reading because there's so many words. Right. For us as a firm, and as a firm that also does design, it's very important that those documents are also not just legible, but they're quotable, they're exciting. The document is not just a technical document. It should be, and this is our hope for Chelsea Palante, Chelsea Onward, that it will be a document that both the city and the city staff and the planning and urban economic development staff could quote, but also the community can have a copy and use it as a reason why to go back to the city and say, like, hey, but in the plan we said we were wanting to do this. Why are we not? So almost like a Bible, everybody can preach from the city staff everywhere down to a high school kid. Everybody could see themselves reflected in that plan.
It's beautiful. So I'm a civil engineer by practice, and I think in engineering, one of the hardest things, as you said in planning, is translating complex things into things that relate to us, right? Mm-hmm. On a daily life. I think we have done a really great job with marketing the plan, getting the word out on what is happening, why we're doing it. But if you don't mind, can you spend just a couple of seconds on when you're out on the street and you're explaining what Chelsea Palante is? How do you frame it to residents? Why is this important?
Well, the way we've been framing it recently, and this is something that is being also the residents have teach us how to communicate about the plan, and it's a circular process. The plan is like a guide. You could even say like we're drawing together a treasure hunt map for the next 10, 15 years. So if you're doing it, if anybody has done a treasure hunt map before, like, okay, where we're gonna be in 15 years, that's our treasure, right? And together we're drawing, okay, this is the path to get there. That includes identifying priorities, includes identifying trade-offs. That will be the most important part of the plan. But at the end, it is a map. It is a map for the future that will define who we are as a city, who we want to be as a city, and where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. It doesn't define every single step we take to get to that goal, but it does define the trajectory we're going. So yeah, it's a map. It's a map for the future.
So it's setting goals.
Yes.
So
the comp plan does three key things. One is first to set the vision. Set the goals and the values of who we are. So we start with understanding what is the existing conditions of the city. Where are we? Where are we jumping from? Not just in terms of data, but also in terms of what are the stories on the street, what are people's current things that they want things to change or things they love. So that's sort of like the values we all share. The plan will try to really set the tone of like, these are the values. The next step is what are the vision, where are we going? What are the priorities for the community in the next 15 years? It's in housing, which clearly is the number one topic, and we can discuss that in more detail later. It's in more parks. It is like waterfront access. It is transportation. Like, what are the things that are in the top priority of the city? And then the third step is implementation. How are we going to get there? What are the few things that are non-negotiables? The priorities are like, we don't touch those. And then when you keep going down the list, then is when the trade-offs is like, if we want to prioritize one thing, then the other thing cannot happen. If we want to put some budget in some side, then the other, like there's, a plan is trade-offs in a package, right? Like understanding that trade-off situation. But as long as we have a solid goal and a solid vision, even if we wander off the path, and we know how to get back to it because the goal post is really clear.
That was beautiful how you explained it. We in my family we talk about this a lot. That we have values, right? That we uphold and are non-negotiable. But as you get down to you go to a supermarket and my 12-year-old want Takis, right? And I say we got to trade that off with a vegetable, right? So these negotiations are very real and are things that we as a family, as a community, are doing all the time. So it's very nice to have this as a conversation. This seems big. It seems quite the endeavor. Can you tell us how long is this going to take? Are there milestones, right? Is Utile going to present kind of deliverables all throughout, and what does the final package look like?
Yeah, so the process is about 2 years. We started end of last year, around November, and we had a few months of pre-planning, of organizing ourselves, and then the actual plan hit the ground on March on the Lante Fest that we had on Chelsea Square. So it's about 2 years. So we're hoping the final plan will be out for a vote on the planning board, who is the board that actually votes the plan per state law around October next year.
October of 2026.
Yes, that's our goal right now. There are several phases. We have divided the whole process in 3 big buckets. The first one, we're calling it Somos Chelsea, We Are Chelsea, which is who we are. And that's the one that we're just wrapping up this summer, which included existing conditions analysis on our end, like looking at data, looking at housing data, demographics, transportation data, but also talking to people and learning people's stories, because to us it's very important that all the analysis comes with stories, right? Like if we see as housing data, definitely there are going to be stories that represent that data on the ground, or vice versa. We have, because of our conversations, we have go back and say, like, we've heard, for example, there's like overcrowding in certain units. So we went back and like, we need to let's actually look for data that complements that story on the ground. So we're in the Somos Chelsea, we're wrapping up. At the end of this phase, we're going to start releasing a report to show to the community what have we learned. What is the data that we found, and also what has the community shared with us in the surveys, in the comment cards, in the different conversations we had with school kids. We had several activities with school kids or with community-based organizations. So we'll present that information throughout this end of the summer. And then the second step is what we're calling our Chelsea, Nuestro Chelsea, which is, okay, now we know who we are. What is the city that we want our Chelsea to look like? And that's the phase where we're gonna do visioning, we do scenarios, we will explore, okay, there's different options. If we prioritize something, it's gonna look this way. And it's a bit of both design and planning, moving the pieces around, which we'll have another workshop at the end of it where we present, okay, these are what we have explored. And then the final, where we just call it Palante, is like, okay, we wrap it up, and this is the implementation part. So implementation is to move it forward, so is the Palante phase, We analyze the implementation, and we will have conversations with the community about, okay, let's be transparent about what are the trade-offs are going to be, and that hopefully will be in the spring next year.
Gotcha. Wow, that is a very big project and really exciting as well. How many residents have you reached so far?
So between survey, comment cards, and else, we are over at 1,200 residents.
You said 1,200?
Yes.
That is amazing. That's a lot of residents.
We had over 800 people answer the survey, which for us is extremely exciting, especially for a city the size of Chelsea. That's way beyond what we normally have seen in other comp plans, which also it's thanks to the community's high interest in the future of their city. Plus comment cards, which hopefully many of our viewers have filled one or answered the survey, which we had in different parts of the city or in events. Plus conversations. We had a couple of workshops with students in the elementary school and the high school. We had a couple of sessions with CVOs, and we attended several community events.
Wow. That is it's quite impressive to reach 1,200 people in Chelsea. How do you think you reached people, especially people who are hard to reach, who are are busy in their lives and maybe are not focused on local government?
So we've been trying to our standard is like meet people where they are. So we have tried to attend events that are already happening or gatherings that the people are already going to be there. That's number one. We had a lot of help with from our partners for local community organizers doing phone calls or knocking doors, answering the survey. Because the survey is an online version that a lot of our residents can actually do, but some others don't have access to it. So we've been phone banking. Some of them, I was very happy. I was at the TND block party a couple days ago, and several people were like, "Oh, I already answered some of this because someone called me." It's like so
it's working.
It's working. So we were very concerned and or engaged in trying to make sure that the people we were engaging also looked like the demographics of Chelsea. Wow. So making sure we were hitting the right proportion of ethnicity, of age, of rental versus owners, because if not, there's no way the plan will be accurate if we're not representing the people of Chelsea.
Absolutely, I imagine that in these conversations there were some funny stories, maybe some sad stories. Could you share a couple of those? Just the human side of this plan.
Right. So to me, that's been the most gratifying part of this work. It's been incredibly emotional because, of course, and probably on a personal note, like we started planning this last year, right? And a lot of things have changed since last year. Yeah. So when you're asking a community about what you imagine, what you love about today, and what you imagine for the future, we're asking them enough to just frame it from what the city will do. It's like, it's your future, right? Like the future of the city is the future of every single Chelsea resident. So it's been an emotional journey of like also as an immigrant myself, but also seeing the stories on the ground and trying to like still use the plan as like, well, there's a reason to be hopeful for. When we started our planning process, we defined 3 values for the engagement team, which was joy, hope, and transparency. Wow. And I remember the first time after we hit the ground, it was like, oh, well, the values of being joy and hopeful, like, and I had like a pit on my stomach, like, we can be joyful and we can hopeful because that's the only way we can move forward. That's right. Great story. Like, I love hearing stories of people that have left the city and come back. Everybody says like, oh, I love living in my city. Like the city is very well. Like in Chelsea, is really true. Like it's been impressive to see how much pride and care people talk about their community, and also it explains why people are so could be even defensive about it. But I've never heard anybody say, "I want a future. I want the future of my city to be welcoming for me, and also I want it to be welcoming for everybody else." It's been the celebration of not just the diversity of the city, but also the support that people find in the city. Is another big strength that across the board, across demographics, across survey or comment cards or in person, everybody has talked about feeling supported in Chelsea. So yeah, I don't know. I have a beautiful story. I think she was probably 8 years old. We had it on school. We asked them to imagine. We told them either the park, or not the park, the lot across the elementary school, or the land under the bridge next to the Williams School. So we did an exercise where we asked them, like, if you could imagine something there, what would it be? It doesn't mean that the plan is going to propose something for there, but it was an opportunity for us to give kids an exercise to dream about the future. And there was this girl that she put something. I think she had moved to Chelsea not too long ago. And she said, I would love to have an area for picnic with my friends and breathe the air and enjoy the landscape.
Wow.
And it was like such beautifully phrased, and it's like, yeah, this is the kind of plan that we want to write. It's like, it's something where everybody can see, like, every place there's something for them there, and it's like to share with their community.
Wow. Well, I think you found out our next city manager, Carlos. So we are 6 months into this journey, and it sounds like there's been a lot of work done. What do you think you've learned so far, and was there any surprises to you and your team?
Well, yes, we learned. Our engagement has been anchored by two questions: what do you love about Chelsea today, and what would you like to see in the future? And we're also been framing the same way in our existing conditions. So things that we learned so far: one, people really value how well located Chelsea is, and people don't want to leave Chelsea because of that. They feel supported by their community and all the different community-based organizations here. They feel supported by how they can find everything very close by, and they really don't want to leave Chelsea. So not surprised there. Anybody has been in Chelsea wouldn't be surprised to hear that. And in terms of what people would like to, or concerns for the future, number one is housing. Also not surprised there. The housing crisis is not just Chelsea's, is the region, is the country, in a way. So housing will be a very important element to look into the plan. It will be one of our priorities to see within the city power and the city's role how housing can be addressed. And another one has been economic development. No surprise there. People listed this also as one of their top priorities. Opportunities for businesses, opportunities for jobs in Chelsea. They mentioned safety. So we're planning to have a more in-depth focus group on that, because safety, surprisingly, was also listed as one of the things people like the most about Chelsea, because they feel supported, but also there's a perception of safety can still improve. So we looked into crime data. Crime data so far seems to be like declining, which is encouraging, but that doesn't preclude that the perception is still like, stories still happen, and like one story is enough to just like make you feel unsafe. One other thing that I think is being very interesting to learn is the role of women in Chelsea. In demographic, the most important demographic, not most important, the most common household type in Chelsea. It's almost one third divided, but like the number one household type is female-led, no spouse household.
Wow.
It's 33% really, like followed by another 30% of like spouses, like family, and then male-led, no spouse, which is higher than the rest of the of the city, of the state. And then the other one is the overcrowding that we mentioned earlier. And this was actually sprouted out of a conversation. We normally don't look into that kind of data, or it's not unlike our obvious data to look into. But because of conversation we were having with people where like they were telling us their stories about renting and then there being 7 people in the same unit and how the landlords were not the most supportive, we went back to the census and, okay, do we have data that can support that? And we did find that Chelsea, for example, is probably the most overcrowded city in the Commonwealth. By overcrowded means people per apartment, right? It's not about density. Because, for example, Somerville, who is as dense as Chelsea, has almost no overcrowding, 1%. Versus Chelsea, per census, around 11% of the units are considered overcrowded, which means there's more people per room that they should be. Right. Which just shows like there's need for more housing units because there's people that want to live in Chelsea, but there's no units, affordable units for them to actually reside in Chelsea in a non-overcrowded way.
That is fascinating stuff. I mean, seeing this, I mean, I can validate a few of the things. I myself, our family has been involved in Chelsea since 2011. So we feel like we're from Chelsea now, even though we also are immigrants, and we keep coming back, right? I mean, either to work here or to be engaged in Chelsea. And I know that we say this all the time. I think that Chelsea is very unique. I meet people everywhere, right, in the country, people who when you say Chelsea, they have a smile on their face, and usually it's because of that, because either their parents grew up here or grandparents grew up here, and I'm really fascinated by the idea that Chelsea has been the welcoming center for Boston for
forever.
over 100 years, and the demographics might change over time, but who Chelsea is has not changed.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's something that we want the plan also to reflect, that Chelsea historically has always taken this gateway condition to its pride. Either if it's immigrants today or immigrants in the past, Chelsea has always been the place where people that are new to the Boston region will feel the more welcome. Yep. And the DNA of a plan should really reflect that there's people that the city wants to always welcome, and also it wants to make sure the current residents stay here for good and thrive here as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's my last question. What is the most immediate phase of Chelsea Palante, and importantly, right? What would make you think that this plan was a success? So if you could look forward, October of 2026, what determinants are going to make Carlos happy with the plan, and Utile happy with the plan?
So the immediate step that we have ahead of us, as mentioned, is we're going to start releasing some of these findings and moving to the most fun part, which is now let's put our creative hats on and think of scenarios for the future. A successful plan, in my opinion, it will be one that organizations, community members, neighborhood groups, and city staff, they all can actually brag about. So hopefully when we get to the planning board actually voting on it, it will be a document that everybody will champion to get approved, and because they see that the values reflected on that plan and the goals reflected on that plan is their values and their goals for the city in 15 years. So yeah, it's hopefully in a year or so we'll have people celebrating that the document is what they were hoping it to be.
So excitement, pride
on the document. Like if I can have people asking for copies. Like I want to own a copy of Chelsea Palante because I want to have it like in my house.
Right.
Like I know like now we're a digital media society and like printing isn't as common, but like something like oh I have it here and like I can look for it and or if I am asking for questions of why the city is doing something, or if I want to ask or look for arguments to tell the city you're not doing the right thing because you told us. So if everybody feel that urge of owning a copy of a plan, that will be like perfect.
Beautiful. I can't wait to have a few copies in my night table that I'll look at every night.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. This was an amazing conversation, Carlos. I learned a lot, and hopefully our residents at home have learned a lot. I feel like when we started thinking about this plan, we also wanted this to be a way to bring our community together, right? A way to have a rallying cry, right? A chant, and I think we have made it there. We went to Denver, Colorado, and we secured Chelsea's third All-America City win. And if you saw the videos, if you saw the swag or the T-shirts, Chelsea Palante was everywhere. So I want to end the recording with our chant that we were doing in Denver. If you watch the videos, it was very exciting. It was awesome, and it really brought our team together, right? Because when we say Palante, right? To me, it doesn't matter what your background is or your political leanings, right? We all want a better Chelsea, and we all want a Chelsea that is moving forward for all of us, right? So when I say Chelsea, I want you to say Palante.
There you go.
All right, and we're gonna do it 3 times, and we want to have some excitement.
There you go.
All right. So Chelsea.
Palante.
Chelsea.
Palante.
Chelsea.
Palante.
All right. Thank you for watching today. Appreciate it. Hola, residentes de Chelsea. Estamos hoy en una sesión especial del programa Nuestra Comunidad. Hoy estamos aquí en Chelsea Cable y les queremos hablar del plan comprensivo de que estamos haciendo en la ciudad de Chelsea, que se llama Chelsea Palante. Este es un plan de que estamos haciendo para toda la ciudad y es un honor para mí estar hoy con Carlos Sainz Caccia, que es un Senior Urban Planner para la compañía de Utile, ¿verdad? Entonces, muchas gracias por estar conmigo hoy,
Gracias,
Carlos.
Fidel.
Y empecemos con cuéntanos, ¿quién es Carlos? Tu historia y por qué te encanta tanto Chelsea.
Gracias, Fidel. Y mucho gusto a todos. Sí, mi nombre es Carlos Sainz Caccia. Yo nací en México y me mudé a Boston en 2015. Estudié arquitectura en México y me vine a Boston a hacer mi maestría en planeación urbana. Y pues, como muchos de nosotros, me acabé quedando en Boston y he hecho mi vida aquí. Yo vivo en Somerville, pero llevo trabajando en Boston desde entonces. Y llevo ya casi 2 años en Utile. Utile es una compañía que trabaja en arquitectura y planeación urbana. Y nos toca hacer desde zonificación, planes maestros o planes integrales, como en el caso de Chelsea Palante.
Qué bueno, qué bueno. Y muchas gracias por hablar de la compañía de Utile. Cuéntanos un poco más de la compañía, a dónde está. ¿Y han hecho esto antes?
Sí, Utile es una compañía que de aproximadamente 90 personas. Estamos ubicados en Chinatown, en Downtown. Hacemos arquitectura, desde vivienda, interiores, edificios. De hecho, acabamos de terminar 25 6th Street, este proyecto que es 100% affordable en 6th Street,
En Chelsea.
aquí en Chelsea. Y yo trabajo en el área de Urban Design and Planning, donde hacemos diferentes escalas de trabajo urbano Y algo en lo que nos hemos enfocado en los últimos años es en planes integrales, en comprehensive plans, como Chelsea Palante. Todo inició en 2016 cuando trabajamos en Imagine Boston y en Vision Cambridge. Y desde entonces no hemos parado haciendo planes integrales como el que recientemente terminamos para Salem en New Hampshire o Worcester, que es la segunda ciudad más grande de Massachusetts. Hace un par de años terminamos el plan en Lynn y Lowell. Y hemos trabajado también en otras municipalidades de Massachusetts.
Excelente. O sea que Utile sí ha hecho esto antes y tiene mucha experiencia en estos planes.
Así es. Y algo que para nosotros es muy importante en este tipo de documentos es que sean documentos. Los documentos de planeación suelen ser increíblemente aburridos, largos, tediosos, hasta para uno que en teoría es experto en la materia, se vuelven documentos difíciles de leer. Y nuestro objetivo es que sean documentos aparte accesibles, bellos de tener, objeto que uno quiera tener en su casa y leerlo y citarlo. Y es lo que también esperamos para Chelsea Palante. Y sobre todo para Chelsea Palante, con una ciudad tan diversa, tan divertida y tan llena de vitalidad como Chelsea, el documento tiene que ser un reflejo de esa comunidad.
Claro que sí, excelente. Y lo que dijiste es importante. Yo soy ingeniero, ¿verdad? Yo creo que en la ingeniería lo más importante es traducir estos sistemas bien complicados a lo que afecta a la comunidad hoy, ¿verdad? Entonces, vos en tus viajes, en tus conversaciones, ¿cómo le explicas a los residentes qué es Chelsea Palante y cómo les afecta a ellos?
Pues la forma en la que lo manejamos es Chelsea Palante, Chelsea Onward es como dibujar un mapa para el futuro de Chelsea. Es dibujar juntos un mapa del tesoro, el tesoro es hacia dónde va a estar Chelsea en 10, 15 años. Y es trazar ese camino juntos, y ese camino va a incluir dónde empezamos, a dónde vamos y cómo llegamos. Eso es un mapa, ¿no? Tienes que empezar en un lado, terminar en otro, y hay un camino que recorrer. Y eso es realmente lo que hace el plan. Dónde empezamos es dónde estamos hoy, cuáles son nuestros valores, cuál es la situación de la ciudad hoy, a dónde vamos, cuál es la visión del futuro, cuáles son las prioridades a las que queremos llegar, y cómo llegamos es cómo lo vamos a lograr, cómo lo vamos a implementar, qué decisiones hay que tomar, qué compromisos o qué negociaciones habrá que hacer, qué prioridades importan más que otras, y esa es la implementación. Esas son las tres partes del plan y las tres etapas del proceso de planeación.
Excelente, excelente. O sea que es un mapa y nos va a decir las metas a dónde vamos y tal vez los pasos que hay que tomar hasta llegar ahí.
Es importante definir que el plan no dice exactamente esta es la nueva zonificación o esta va a ser el presupuesto de la ciudad, pero sí te va a decir la ciudad el plan tiene como prioridad estos tres elementos, por lo tanto, uno de ellos va a ser que la zonificación refleje. O el plan identifica problemas y sugiere soluciones, y entonces la ciudad podrá tomar ya sus decisiones cuando voten presupuestos o cuando elijan qué proyectos darles prioridad. Son proyectos que responden a necesidades identificadas en el plan.
Sí, imagino de que el proceso de esto va a tomar negociaciones de qué es más importante a la otra cosa y obviamente negociaciones a nivel de ciudad.
Así es. Al final, un plan integral es negociaciones en un documento, ¿no? O trade-offs, no sé cómo decir trade-offs en español, pero es la negociación, el trade-off de, ok, ¿qué nos importa más? ¿Cuál es la prioridad número uno de la ciudad? Entonces, ok, esa no la podemos descartar. Entonces, todas las decisiones que la ciudad tome en el futuro tienen que tener en cuenta que la prioridad era esta que fue definida. Y y el objetivo es que las decisiones se vuelvan más sencillas y se vuelvan coordinadas.
Qué bueno.
Que todo el trabajo que la ciudad haga en los próximos 15 años estén coordinadas dentro de la misma visión para el futuro.
Claro que sí. No, y esto es algo de que hacemos en nuestras casas. Yo en mi casa, yo tengo 2 niños, ¿verdad? Y si vamos a Market Basket, ¿verdad? Ellos quieren taquis o quieren dulces, ¿verdad? Y este es el balance, ¿verdad? Entre en balancear las prioridades de cada uno, ¿verdad? Pero enfocarse en los valores, en lo que cómo queremos ser como familia, ¿verdad? O como casa, y cuáles son las limitaciones que tenemos también, ¿verdad? Porque hay que ser realistas. El plan suena increíble. ¿Cuánto tiempo va a tomar? Y habrán como reportes. ¿Cada cuánto tiempo?
El plan es aproximadamente 2 años. Iniciamos en noviembre del año pasado con el pre-planning, unos meses en los que en el equipo nos organizamos. El proceso empezó oficialmente en marzo. El proceso público empezó en marzo y nuestros objetivos es para octubre de 2026 tener el plan listo para ser votado en el Planning Board, que es el organismo que debe votarlo de acuerdo a la ley de Massachusetts. Ese proceso está dividido en 3 etapas y la primera que estamos terminando este verano la llamamos nuestro Chelsea y es la etapa en la que definimos dónde estamos, quiénes somos.
¿Quiénes somos? Ya.
Perdón, somos Chelsea, no nuestro Chelsea. Somos Chelsea. Somos Chelsea es etapa número 1. ¿Quiénes somos como ciudad? Al finalizar esa etapa, lo que estamos ahora haciendo en las próximas semanas es documentar todo y vamos a publicar un reporte de quién es Chelsea, cuáles son las situaciones existentes, cuáles son las historias que hemos escuchado y aprendido en los diferentes engagements que hemos tenido. La siguiente etapa es nuestro Chelsea, es ahora qué queremos que sea nuestra ciudad en el futuro y es donde vamos a trabajar en imaginar escenarios de qué pasa si la prioridad es esta, bueno, qué pasa si la prioridad es esta otra, y entonces hacia dónde la ciudad podría estar. Y esos escenarios van a ser compartidos con la comunidad y vamos a seguir teniendo conversaciones en las que nos digan si estamos o no en el camino correcto. Y la última etapa, para adelante, es discutir cómo llegamos, ¿no? Es la implementación.
Ya. Excelente, excelente. Y en esta primera etapa, ¿a cuántos residentes hemos tocado, hemos hablado?
En la encuesta que tuvimos, las tarjetas de visión que soy seguro muchos de los que nos están viendo llenaron en algún evento y otras conversaciones, hemos conversado con más de 1,200 personas.
1,200 personas.
1,200 personas en Chelsea.
Increíble, increíble. Es un número impresionante.
Sí, es un muy buen número que nos sentimos muy, muy contentos. La pura encuesta, que son más de 800 personas respondieron en la encuesta, es por mucho superó las expectativas de lo que normalmente vemos en planes similares.
Claro que sí. ¿Y cómo tocaste a tanta gente o llegaste a tanta gente?
En parte fue nuestros socios y colaboradores de engagement aquí en la ciudad nos ayudaron a tocar puertas o llamar por teléfono, a estar en los diferentes eventos o actividades que hay en la ciudad que sabemos que reúnen gente. Entonces, en lugar de nosotros esperar a que la gente venga hacia nosotros fuimos a donde sabemos que hay más gente. Tuvimos mesas en diferentes eventos y actividades de la ciudad. Trabajamos con Chelsea Public Schools para tener algunas actividades con los niños y la juventud. Entonces, sí, ir hacia donde la gente está.
Excelente, excelente. Y imagino que en estas interacciones nos puedes compartir algunas historias o algún aprendizaje.
Sí, el aprendizaje principal y ese es el objetivo de esta etapa era quién es Chelsea, ¿no? Y nos hemos encontrado con una comunidad que aunque todo el mundo puede presumir que es una comunidad que se siente muy cercana, que es una comunidad muy, que se apoya mutuamente, en Chelsea realmente lo vemos y lo palpamos con las conversaciones de las personas. Muchísimo orgullo y muchísima seguridad en el sentido de que se sienten recibidos, se sienten arropados, que es una ciudad que... y es parte del ADN de esta ciudad, siempre recibir y tener los brazos abiertos para quienes acaban de llegar y sobre todo, y también cuidar para los que han estado aquí por generaciones. Hay una historia que me encanta, que es una niña creo que es tercero o cuarto grado, tuvimos el ejercicio hace unos días, 3 semanas, y les pedimos a los niños que se imaginaran qué podían hacer debajo del puente a un lado de William School. Y el objetivo del ejercicio no es que el plan va a diseñar algo para ese espacio, sino para permitirles que se imaginen cuál sería para ellos el Chelsea que les gustaría ver, ¿no? Y hubo una niña que yo creo que acababa de llegar, no lleva mucho tiempo en Chelsea, y nos decía que quería un espacio debajo del puente donde pudiera hacer picnics con sus amigos, respirar el aire fresco y ver el paisaje. Y desde que me acuerdo, porque aparte era una niña muy, muy tímida y que no hablaba inglés, entonces tenía una amiga que le ayudó a traducir. Y entonces me encantó, es perfectamente, muy bien explicado. Y para mí esto es lo que realmente queremos que el plan refleje, ¿no?
Excelente, no, y refleja lo que es Chelsea, ¿verdad? De que nosotros aquí venimos a este país, aquí venimos a esta comunidad a buscar a un lugar seguro, ¿verdad? Para nosotros y nuestros hijos, a un lugar donde puedan respirar y crecer.
Y el hecho de que se lo haya imaginado para debajo del puente a mí también es como... Chelsea históricamente ha sufrido de infraestructura que es impuesta y la autopista que pasa por en medio. Y aún así, en esa situación compleja, la posibilidad de imaginar, y es un espacio para donde yo aún así puedo estar con mis amigos y disfrutar el paisaje y sentirme parte de la ciudad.
No, imagínate si podríamos hacer eso debajo del puente, ¿verdad?
¿Quién sabe? A lo mejor va a ser
no hay
una
límites.
prioridad, a lo mejor va a ser una de unas propuestas que puedan salir del plan, quién sabe.
Exactamente. Entonces, has hablado con 1.200 personas. ¿Han habido sorpresas?
Sorpresas como tal, no. Los principales temas que hemos aprendido o confirmado uno es una ciudad que la gente aprecia mucho el estar cercano a Boston, que es accesible, que a pesar de que a veces el tráfico es complicado, está muy bien ubicada y encuentran todo a la mano. Que es una ciudad que al ser pequeña se sienten arropados. En temas al futuro, el principal ha sido vivienda. El tema de la vivienda es el problema o el tema número uno a resolver, que no es sorpresa para nadie. Es el tema de la vivienda para Chelsea, para Boston, para el estado y para el país es complicado. Y en ciudades que crecen y cambian tanto como Boston y por extensión Chelsea, vivienda es el tema número uno. Cosas que sí logramos o hicimos debido a esta interacción con los habitantes de Chelsea fue historias que informaron análisis posterior. Por ejemplo, escuchamos dentro de nuestras conversaciones el tema de la vivienda no es solo que falta vivienda, sino cuál es la condición de la vivienda actual, cuál es el mantenimiento de las viviendas y cómo hay exceso o hay demasiadas personas en ciertas viviendas porque es la única forma en la que lo puedan pagar. Sí. Entonces, eso nos lleva a un tema de overcrowding, de hacinamiento. Y entonces, escuchamos esas historias y nos regresamos al censo. Okay, podemos encontrar datos que soportan este tipo de historias. Y sí, encontramos que Chelsea es por mucho la ciudad más con mayor hacinamiento del estado. Alrededor del 11% de las unidades, por ejemplo, tienen más personas de las que deberían de tener. Y eso nos habla de que hace falta vivienda, que hay necesidad de vivienda y que la gente no se quiere ir de Chelsea, que prefieren vivir en esas condiciones o que es la única opción que tienen, pero preferían eso a irse a otro lado porque en Chelsea se sienten seguros.
Es cierto.
Entonces el plan va a buscar escenarios y qué podemos hacer dentro de la esfera del gobierno municipal para atender temas como ese.
Sí, sí, y en Chelsea, ¿verdad? Se habla mucho de la densidad, ¿verdad? De que es el número de unidades en una área, ¿verdad? De tierra, ¿verdad? Y esto es algo de que hemos hablado mucho en la historia de Chelsea, pero el tema, el que acabaste de brindar, no es algo de que hablamos mucho, no es necesariamente el número de unidades, sino que es el número de personas en cada unidad.
Sí, por ejemplo, si comparamos con Somerville, que es tan densa como Chelsea en número de personas por hectárea o por acre, Somerville no tiene problemas de overcrowding o de hacinamiento. Eso nos habla de que no es cuántas unidades, cuánta vivienda en la ciudad, sino cuántas personas por vivienda.
Claro.
Y entonces, una forma de proteger a todas esas personas que ya están en Chelsea, que quieren seguir estando en Chelsea, personas que necesitarán vivienda, que haya más vivienda disponible y asequible para ellos en Chelsea.
Claro que sí, excelente, ¿no? Impresionante y es algo de que es interesante de que lo pudiste validar con la información del censo.
Sí, no, y todo fue, te digo, es las historias que soportan el análisis y viceversa.
Claro que sí. Sí, sí. ¿Qué es la próxima en Chelsea para Lante? Y una pregunta que es algo que yo me pregunto siempre y me gustaría preguntarte a vos. ¿Qué haría en tus ojos de que este plan sea un éxito?
Lo que sigue es, estamos terminando Somos Chelsea, la etapa de Somos Chelsea. Vamos a publicar los diferentes análisis que hemos hecho para que la gente los lea y los comparta. Y seguiremos teniendo ejercicios de socialización. La siguiente etapa será luego la visualización y la visión, donde tendremos más talleres comunitarios, más círculos comunitarios. Entonces, el engagement, la socialización no termina. Y lo que sería el éxito para este plan es que al final, cuando lleguemos a septiembre, octubre del 2026 y ya vaya a ser votado en el Planning Board, que todos los sectores de la población se sientan identificados en el plan y se sientan emocionados de que el plan está por ser votado. Si llegamos a esa etapa cuando llegamos a esa etapa y haya gente que quiera una copia del plan para guardarla, para consultarla, para tenerla en su casa, sería excelente. Y sé que somos una generación ya digital donde ya casi nadie tiene documentos físicos, pero muchas veces esos documentos, cuando no están bien hechos, acaban en un cajón,
Claro.
Coleccionando polvo, ahí empolvándose. Y si el plan en lugar de eso es realmente un documento que la gente se siente orgulloso de y la tenga en su librero o en su casa o en su oficina y diga, ¿no? Y ese es el plan que en los próximos 15 años puedan usar y decir, ciudad, hey Fidel, aquí dijimos que íbamos a hacer, ¿por qué no? O ustedes, o la ciudad pueda decir, comunidad, estamos haciendo esta decisión porque en el plan acordamos. Entonces, si todo el mundo se pueda sentir reflejado y puedan citar el plan como la razón por la que las cosas se están haciendo, es prueba del éxito del plan. Entonces, esperemos llegar ahí.
Y estar orgulloso. ¿Vale?
Claro,
es lo que dijiste.
Al final de cuentas es un documento en el que todo el mundo se vea en él y que haya un orgullo de que sí, esto es lo que nos va a mover para adelante y entendiendo de que es un proyecto que nunca termina, ¿no? La planificación de la ciudad siempre se tiene que ajustar y el plan esperamos nos va a dar la claridad para al menos saber hacia dónde vamos.
Claro que sí. Yo te puedo ordenar copia ya, porque yo le quiero mandar una a mi abuelita, a mi mamá.
Deja que lo escribamos primero y ya lo tengamos listo.
Gracias.
Sí.
Muchas gracias. No, cuando empezamos este proyecto, ¿verdad? Una de las metas era unificar a la ciudad, ¿verdad? Y crear un proceso en que toda la ciudad se uniera, ¿verdad? Hacia algo común, ¿verdad? Entonces, sí, podemos hacer eso, ¿verdad? De unirnos y estar enfocados en el futuro. Porque yo como residente de Chelsea y una persona de que ama Chelsea, yo sé de que aquí estamos en Chelsea y hemos estado en Chelsea, todos trabajando para un Chelsea mejor, ¿verdad? Para un Chelsea de que les dé ayuda a todos los residentes, ¿verdad? Sin importar la política, ¿verdad? O los cambios en el Estado o los federales, ¿verdad? De que aquí en Chelsea estamos para la gente de Chelsea. Y a mí me encanta el nombre y me encanta el logo, ¿verdad? El logotipo y es algo de que sí se ha creado mucha pasión con el nombre. Yo soy nicaragüense, pero la palabra pa'lante, ¿verdad? Es algo de que a mí me inspira, ¿verdad? Y me llama como a una manifestación, a una protesta, ¿verdad? O a una celebración, igual, ¿verdad? Y esto es algo de que en Denver, Colorado, la ciudad fue y ganó el tercer premio de All American City, ¿verdad? Y ahí se sintió la pasión, ¿verdad? De decirle al país, Chelsea va para adelante, ¿verdad? Y Chelsea vamos a pelear por nuestro futuro y en contra de lo que venga. Así que me gustaría hoy terminar con el canto de que hemos hecho. Lo vamos a hacer 3 veces, Carlos. Perfecto. Así que yo digo Chelsea y tú dices para adelante, ¿verdad? Y esto es algo de que me gustaría hacerlo en las escuelas, ¿verdad? En las calles, en todo, porque nos tenemos que unir, ¿verdad? Y decirle al Estado, decirle a los federales de que Chelsea va para adelante, ¿verdad? Exactamente. Así que vamos. Chelsea.
Para adelante.
Chelsea.
Para adelante.
Chelsea.
Para adelante.
Para adelante. Y ahí va Chelsea. Así que, residentes de Chelsea, muchas gracias por acompañarnos hoy en esta sesión de nuestra comunidad. Que Dios los bendiga.